Sunday work places enormous pressure on workers and families, they said. It encourages burnout and leads to sickness and absenteeism. Well, these are some of the excuses that they're using as reasons for promoting Sunday rest. Here's another footnote. They said because it enables citizens to participate in social and associative life, to seek cultural and spiritual recreation, and to engage in volunteer activities, a work-free Sunday strengthens the social cohesion of our societies. They're getting very good at putting together the language that is going to convince most people to adopt Sunday laws and to live by these things. I want to share with you another statement by Rudiger Knoll. This tells us where it's going. He was one of the speakers at this conference on March 24. Rudiger Knoll is the director of Church and Society Commission for the European Churches. It's an ecumenical organization that promotes, among other things, Sunday rest. He also reaffirmed that more than any other day of the week, a work-free Sunday offers the opportunity to be with one's family and friends. They just keep hammering at this and hammering at it and hammering at it. But then he makes this statement. He says, common free time, meaning on Sunday, is important precondition for a participatory society which allows its members to engage in civil activities. Now I want you to think about what this just said. A participatory society. What does that mean? That's a society where everybody participates. He said it is an important precondition. Common free time or Sunday rest is a precondition for participation in society. In other words, if you don't go along with Sunday rest, you will be excluded from participation in society. Now, where do you get that in the Bible? The Bible tells us that. It's found in Revelation 13. Let's have a look. Revelation 13 tells us in verse 16, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the mark of the beast, or Sunday worship. And that no man might what? Buy or sell. You see that? That's participation in society. What this Rudiger Knoll is saying, that those who don't go along with Sunday rest are not going to be able to buy and sell. That's how you participate. Or that's one of the ways that you participate. It's the main way. It's the foundational way. If you can't buy or sell, you have no basis to do anything else. So the no buy, no sell law is what he's telling us about right here. He's quite open about it. That's where they want to take it, to the point where Sunday rest is required as a foundation for participation in society. He is bearing false witness about Sunday, of course, but it shows you where this is going to lead legally. And they're working on a law. They want a legal foundation for their Sunday rest. Not just a persuasive one based on whatever, persuasion they can use. They want a legal Sunday. And you'll be excluded from participation by the no buy, no sell law if you don't go along with it. This man is telling us the truth, in a way. Even though he's bearing false witness in one aspect, he's telling the truth in another. Of course, this idea of Sunday law does not include, or rather, it excludes certain exceptions necessary for essential services such as transportation, health care, and other essential services. that will not be permitted to get in the way of this Sunday law. They'll make exceptions, of course. But in other words, Europe is headed for Sunday law. So far, the bishops have been unsuccessful. But I suspect that they are, based on prophecy, that they are going to eventually get their way. By the way, Mind, Character, and Personality, page 28, says that men will bind up with one another in confederacies. When all the trade unions of Europe get together with all the churches of Europe, or many of the churches of Europe, and other religious and civil organizations, they bind together in a confederacy in favor and push for Sunday laws. We have the fulfillment of this prophecy, where she said, men will bind up with one another in confederacies, in trade unions, and in secret societies. Have you read anything about secret societies lately? There are at work in the world agencies that God will not much longer tolerate. Now that's what God's saying about it. But in the meantime, they are being and going to be oppressive and controlling and requiring things of you that is in contrast with the law of God. Manuscript Releases, Volume 4, page 23. The trade unions will be the cause of the most terrible violence that has ever been seen among human beings. So there's a problem here, folks. So they are trying in Europe to press for the elevation of Sunday laws. But the battle is just getting started. It's not just being waged at the parliamentary level. The bishops are also working on the citizens to instigate public demand for Sunday rest. And they've organized a campaign to get 1 million signatures of European citizens from a significant number of member countries to sign a petition asking for work-free Sunday. The reason is because in the European Parliament working rules and regulations, there is the opportunity for the citizens to influence the lawmaking. Isn't that interesting? It's so different than here in the United States, where we have a much more direct and active role in as citizens to promote the laws of the land. But in Europe, it's a different matter. The citizens don't have the right to directly influence their lawmakers, unless there are 1 million of them asking for the same thing. Then the parliament might consider it. They give themselves an out, you know. Well, in any case, that provision is there, and the bishops are trying to raise 1 million signatures to ask for Sunday rest. They've set up a website. They have, you can go and see it there on the web. It's called A Work-Free Sunday. If you want to go to the website, you just Google Work-Free Sunday. It'll pop up for you. And it is obviously being well orchestrated and well organized effort to promote Sunday rest. Now, once Rome is, as I mentioned earlier, Rome is trying to be recognized legally as the cultural and religious center of Europe, because Rome wants to recover her power. So far, she's failed. So now, by pressing for Sunday laws, she's coming through the back door. She's trying to establish Sunday rest, which is the mark of Rome's authority. You know that, right? Sunday rest is the mark of Rome's authority. If she can succeed in getting Sunday rest in Europe, she will then by default make herself the cultural center and the religious center of Europe. You see? Rome is working every angle she can. So my friends, as we think about what is happening in Europe, we can recognize something. Europe is much more secular than the United States. Much more secular. Churches in Europe have very few people attending. Rome is not concerned, at this point at least, about getting people in church. What she's trying to establish is her legal authority. Okay?